there, Dello Delegates, and welcome to the Cinema Asylum podcast review of Andor Season 2. I'm Dyllan, one of two superhero and sci-fi experts.
I'm Matthew, the other superhero and sci-fi expert.
And I am John Thompson. I am the action and the animation expert, and boy, do we have a fun one for this one!
Yeah.
especially multiple fun ones. We just did our '94 rankings. We got tons of other recordings to do, including our live reaction to Superman 4, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited to laugh my butt off. Which that live reaction is already uploaded. You guys can go check it out. But in the meantime, Andor Season 2. Let's go.
So, before we get started, spoiler alert. This show, while there are normally like certain time frames where it's okay to or to not spoil something, just if you haven't watched it, go watch it. Come back, listen to a review. Otherwise, go ahead at your own risk.
It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I feel like if you haven't been spoiled about it and you care about spoilers, you've probably seen it, or you're about to watch it. One of the two. But no, spoiler alert. Let's get started. John, what'd you think?
Thank you. Yeah, I will gladly give you my thoughts on the show. I did enjoy Andor Season 1, so I was not surprised there was going to be a Season 2.
Yeah.
A little surprised it took a little longer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
That was a little surprising. But yeah, this takes place before Rogue One, which I had to know that by the ending of Episode 12. So, Brain, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. But you'll notice there's timelines. They've been doing 3 episodes each week. They've been doing that.
Each 3-episode arc was a year jump from the last arc.
Yeah,
including the first season of Andor.
Which that's very fascinating that they actually did that. And I had to do some research what these quotations stand for, and I was like,
Before Battle of Yavin, yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. So, very excited to watch it. I had no idea when I was going to watch it because I was so busy with other projects that was actually going on. But I got to watch it, and I definitely got to say the Star Wars shows that we have been getting, as much as I do enjoy the Acolyte a lot. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Skeleton Crew and Andor Season 2, we're getting good quality Star Wars shows that people seem to enjoy.
Yeah.
And I know this one has been kind of polarized with Season 2, I think.
There are some controversies here. It's hard for me to make heads or tail of one of them, but
okay, yeah.
We'll
which we'll talk about that. But personally, for me, I love Season 2 more than Season 1.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
I do, because I loved a lot of the drama, the acting performances. There's actually a lot more action in Season 2 than there in Season 1, which there are some action in it.
Yeah.
But this is my type of Star Wars that I love. Is lots of action and lots of lightsaber sequences and all that stuff. And the visual background, it looks gorgeous.
Yes. Yeah.
Which, for some reason, I was getting Blade Runner vibes for some reason with the backgrounds. That's how
there
much.
Are a couple moments I could see. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how much I love the visuals of the show. And it's just Disney. This is just not fair. How do you make the quality so good when it looks like movie quality? It's ridiculous of how good this show is. It looks so good.
Yeah.
The acting performances is also really, really good. Really like every single character. There definitely can be some times where you think to yourself, I wonder why they did this. I wonder why they did that. But you're just enjoying along for the ride, and you're liking what you are watching in terms of everything that was actually going. But there's a lot of great dramatic sequences in the entire show. But yeah, I personally thought that Andor Season 2, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And I thought it was I love the last shot at the end of Episode 12, which we'll get to later. But I love the last shot when it leads to Rogue One. It was like, I remember that shot. And that's what makes Season 2 my favorite over Season 1, because of how they started with what I think is a great Star Wars movie. So I love Season 2. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I was a big fan of it. I feel the same way. I like Season 2 more than I like Season 1. One of the cons that I had going into Season 2 was initially when they announced the show, they announced 5 seasons. So like it was
I was
going to
unaware
be
of that.
1 year every season. But after the first season of Andor, they're like, "Hey, by the way, we're not doing that anymore." And like after hearing how they talked about the production, which I want to talk about the production for a second, just to talk through my issue with the fact that they changed that, because that seems to be a common complaint about the show, was that they cut
That
it
is one of
down.
my biggest complaints.
Yeah, and like it's very unfortunate that it happened, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad that it did. Just watching the stories that we got here, which talking about Gorman. Gorman has been brought up in Star Wars multiple times before, so getting to actually see what happened on Gorman, see what happened with the Gorman massacre, is insane. But just like watching those 2 Gorman arcs in this season, just watching those, I was like, okay, if they would have done 12 episode season covering just one of these arcs, I don't know how they could have managed to do it unless they filled it with Andor doing other missions the entire time. Like not to say that the episodes were boring here in season 2, but just thinking about what they would have been if they would have been their own entire season. I just feel like there would have been a lot of dull moments in it. The most interesting aspect of those, outside of what was happening on Gorman, the most interesting aspects that could have, the most interesting thing that they could have helped elevate with a full season of one of those arcs would have been the wedding story of the second arc.
Oh yeah.
With Mon Mothma's daughter. I think that would have been incredibly interesting, and I'm bummed out that we didn't get a mention of what kind of went on there afterwards.
Okay.
Which to be expected, it's hard to age up to age up somebody who looks like they're a teenager so much. It would have been difficult to pull off, especially with what they were doing for the second season. I would have liked that carryover. I liked the story that they were telling with Mon Mothma's family. I really liked it.
And we got to see Trandrilla for the first time.
Yes, I was so happy about that. The Chandrila is one of those planets where I'm really fascinated by.
Like Alderaan.
Yeah, because there's so much mystery around it, and like when they introduced or when they dived into it more on screen in the first season of Andor, when they dove into it, it only like helped mystify it even more, where it was like, oh, so there's this like really rich culture that I had no idea about. And like I want to see more about that on screen. I love that kind of world building aspect of it. And it's aside from Andor, the most experience that I have with Chandrila is in the books. And so, for example, my favorite my favorite canon Star Wars book is The Princess and the Scoundrel, which is the story of Han and Leia getting married and them on their honeymoon.
Oh, okay, nice.
I love it. But it kind of served as promo material for the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel, which they ended up having to shut down after a year, which sucked. It shut down like the day before my birthday. I was like, come on.
No.
I could have gone on a cruise myself.
You can always still go to the club.
Yeah,
You know about that, right? The
Huh?
Star Wars strip club.
What are you talking about?
They opened a Star Wars strip club at Disney World.
You're not talking about Galaxy's Edge, are you?
It's at Galaxy's Edge, yeah. But yeah, there's a strip club there now.
Huh! I didn't know about that. That's okay.
Apparently, Jar Jar is one of the most popular strippers.
I believe it. Everyone wants to see. Everyone wants to see him bust it down.
Okay, that's interesting.
We
Star
said
Wars.
drop it real though.
Wow.
No. But it kind of served. The Princess and the Scoundrel kind of served as promo for Galactic Star Cruiser. But the Galactic Star Cruiser, just a little factoid. But the Galactic Star Cruiser was actually a Chandrilan ship, designed by Drug. I'm spacing his name.
You're getting your Star Wars card revoked.
Fuck off. I love the character in High Republic. I was so happy to meet him in High Republic. I just cannot remember his name. He's in Dyllan. He's Babu Frick's species.
Okay.
But that's who he is. But I knew about that, and like in Princess and the Scoundrel, literally the reason why they end up on the ship is because Mon Mothma is like, Leia, we literally just killed the Emperor. You need to chill out, spend time banging your husband, and I'm going to provide you a free luxury cruise. Literally, like you're set. Don't do anything with the rebellion. Just go on this. And then she ended up making a rebellion mission. But like that was a lot of the stuff that I knew about, or that was most of what I knew about Chandrilan connection to the grander universe. So watching Andor season 1, season 2, I really love how they flesh out Chandrila on screen, and I love how they bring the culture into like the audience's viewpoint, or the common audience's viewpoint. I was a big fan of that. But other than that, I really did love it. I think that this is a great season. I definitely had my issues with it, but we'll dive into more stuff later. Matthew, go ahead. Yeah, because I know that you got some hot takes.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
I didn't really care for this season that much. Part of it was the timeline issue. I thought it would have been better, more spread out with more story.
Yeah, I definitely would have preferred that.
Because for me, maybe it was because I watched it all, like, bust through it in, like, 3 days. But it just seemed like it was a pacing issue to me. Like, we get all this space of just build up, it would explode for 15 minutes and then just die off again with the next 3 episodes. And then there'd have to be build up again, and then...
Well, I mean, that's the reason why they released 3 at a time. It was so that you had that weekly viewing of, like, oh my god, that just happened, I have to wait a week.
Yeah.
And then it was like, where are we catching characters again?
Yeah, but it just, I don't know. I feel like there could have been more to it.
Yes, agreed.
That it would have been better as an expanded. And just overall, like, the stories didn't line up with me this season. My favorite episode was episode 8, I believe.
Okay.
Where the riot was happening.
Yeah.
But nothing held me this season compared to the heist from the first season.
Yeah.
Which is some of the finest Star Wars we've gotten.
The first season, I can't remember what I said in the original review, but
We didn't review it originally.
Did we not?
No, because we started in 2023.
Right. Okay, yeah, because it was Mandalorian season 3 and Ahsoka that we did that year.
Yes.
Okay, I'm stupid. All right, no, I can't. When the first season came out, it was the middle 2 arcs that I really liked.
Yeah.
Where I really liked the heist arc, especially the Eye of Aldhani.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Was beautiful.
Yes.
But I know that you don't like the prison arc either.
It was better the second time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm glad to hear that, because I think that's one of the best story, one of the best pieces of storytelling that we've seen from Star Wars in general. Just that the Narcana 5 arc. No, that's surprising, but yeah, please continue.
Yeah. One thing that is a standout, though, like, it was standout with the first season, still a standout now, is it's more of a Dune Blade Runner level Star Wars, where it's more of like a Oscar type stuff, Emmy type stuff. It's more like,
I agree with that, yeah.
It's deep, like, it's not really more adult. Some parts it's more adult.
Yes.
But it's more mature.
Yeah.
It's just more for, like, the film lovers, and it'll be more like if someone like Nolan or Denis got their hand on Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's definitely a little more artsy. It's more complex.
Less fantasy, more thriller.
Yeah, I will always say there's always this argument, and I'm not going to get on a tangent about it, at least not right now. Maybe later. But there's always this complaint from a certain side of the Star Wars fandom where they're like, well, kids don't want to see this. And it's like, kids don't want to watch Andor. Want to know why kids don't want to watch Andor? It's because it doesn't have all these giant space battles.
Right.
It doesn't have giant glowing glow sticks, or giant colored glow sticks that can cut somebody in half.
There's different audiences for different parts.
Yes. Kids don't care about the stories that are being told in Andor.
With Interstellar being my favorite sci-fi movie, it makes sense that I like Andor more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like this, like you said, this is for adults. This
Yeah.
is not a children's TV show.
Right.
You can say that it's a children's franchise all you want,
Yeah.
But this isn't a children's TV show. This is
Right.
for people that are looking at not to compare to real life things, but like people compare systemic issues in government and stuff like that. Like it's the people that are more aware of those kinds of things,
Yeah.
where like this is the show for them, where they're going to be able to pick up nuances. They're going to be able to pick up the complexities of the story that's
Yeah.
being told.
That's what it is. It's a more complex story.
Yeah, and like I definitely I think that season 1 was more complex.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that it ties into the timing issue of
Yes.
the pacing, where we aren't getting entire years. The first season, one of the things that made the first season so good was the slow burn of it.
Yeah.
It was the build up. It was the boiling kettle on the stove. Like that's what it was, and you could definitely still feel it here. I just feel like that was more present if you watch the second and third arc back to back.
Yeah. But like the first season was kind of like this, and then kind of like that. This is just like,
Yeah, I
'Cause
just
it's-
like every week you were starting a new thing.
Yeah,
It was like there was a continuing story, but yeah, you definitely lost a lot of the
context and complexity of it.
well, that you also lose the because like I said, like these were made to be watched as individual arcs. They weren't made to be watched as individual episodes.
Right, which is how I did it.
Yeah, watching it as like an individual episode, there's definitely going to be that I don't want to say crutch. That crutch is very much the wrong word. But there's definitely going to be that drawback where like you have this build up for 3 episodes, and then it jumps forward a year, and you lose all of that momentum. So
Yeah.
absolutely, I see what you're saying there, where it's just like it's kind of a roller coaster with the pacing.
Yeah,
I feel that, yeah.
because like I'd watched it all in 2 days.
Yeah.
So, like-
watching it like that, like you really don't get the distance that you need in between the arcs.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like I also feel like if it would have just been like the full 12 episodes, there's also that what's the word I'm looking for? Not kind of like room to breathe. Like you can process more of it by 1 episode at a time for 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Because like there's less plot because it's going from 12 to 3, so it's almost at a breakneck speed a lot of it.
Yeah, they're trying to throw all this character development at you
In 2 hours.
At 2 hours, yeah, so that the next time you see these characters, you won't be as caught off guard by the fact that they've changed.
Yeah, and one of my, I obviously I prefer movies more, but one of my biggest things about TV show is the mass amounts of character development.
Yeah.
Because you can do more because it's spread out more.
Yeah.
So this kind of kills it with that.
Well, I will say, I wish that the character development would have been a little more consistent, actually.
Yeah.
And like I wish because this show was supposed to from the first episode of season 1 to the final episode of season 2, we were supposed to see how Cassian went from that kid on I forget what the planet was called, or if we ever even got a name
That he was born on?
yeah
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
I
think we ever got a
forget.
name.
But basically from where who he was on Ferrix, or where he grew up
To being the rebel leader.
to being the rebel leader, yeah,
Yeah.
to the responsible and cold-blooded
Which we got that.
rebel, yeah.
We got that, but it
We-
just
we
seems like
got
there
it.
was missing context.
Well, like not only that, but he just seemed very like flip-floppy with it.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
he just didn't seem like he was bending enough with it.
Right.
Because when we see him in Rogue One, he's so very like
Cold and
focused.
distant. Yeah.
Well, that, and he's so like focused on the cause. He's so focused
Yeah.
on what they're doing and what they're fighting for.
If they would have done it as single seasons, they would have been able to grow that distance.
yes,
And the last season would have been a lot more colder and yeah.
yeah, like we would have seen Cassian be able to grow these morals, to grow this line in the sand for him.
Yeah.
We would have been able to see it, because like this entire time it's kind of like, well, what polarized him?
Right.
What turned him onto the rebellion? Because from the first episode, it's very obvious that he doesn't fucking care.
Right.
And like to go from there to I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
To go to that moment in Rogue One, it's like, what flipped the switch for him?
Right.
Because it's obvious that who he cares about for the entirety of the show, up until the last 3 episodes,
Is
basically,
Bix.
was Bix.
Yeah.
And like, I'm glad that Bix was kind of what left him to the rebellion. Like that was kind of like the last thing that needed to fall in place.
Yeah.
I like that, but you don't. We see a couple moments through the first 9 episodes.
Yeah.
We see a couple moments through the first 9 episodes where casting shows this elevated way of thinking about the rebellion.
Yeah.
Where he's like, well, this is what's right. Like, the rebellion is doing X, Y, and Z. You don't have to worry about this. Like how he's talking about the girl who prepared his cockpit in the season premiere.
Yeah.
Where he was like, you're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any question about that, don't. You are doing the right thing.
That was a funny scene. Him crashing the ship everywhere.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I love it. Anytime that I see a very skilled pilot just completely obliterate something with a TIE fighter, I lose my mind. Which we've only seen it happen, what, like 3 times? Roughly?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, twice in live action, like 3 times in total.
Yeah.
Love it. But no, we don't see we have those moments where he's like, this is what the rebellion is.
Yeah.
Like it's good people doing what they need to do.
Yeah.
But then he just pivots the next time that he's
Right.
talking to somebody else who's like-minded,
Yeah.
who he doesn't have to hide anything from. He talks to them, and I know that it's probably like he was only ever in it because, and like Bix said it well, where
Yeah.
she was like, I'm what's keeping you back from committing to the rebellion.
Yeah.
But we don't fucking see those moments outside of
Right.
where he's trying to be like, hey, I need you to not fucking freak out right now.
Yeah.
Like, you need to keep it cool, otherwise this is going to go to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
Outside of those moments, we don't get anything else really where he's talking about how he believes in the cause
Right.
or the rebellion or anything like that. Like there should have been a little bit more
Yeah.
of that, at least in that year leading up to Bix
Right.
leaving.
Yeah.
Like, he should have been more 50-50 on it than he was.
Right. I'm not saying like it's a bad made show.
Mm.
I'm just saying there's so much context missing.
Yes, absolutely.
I
know
they
what you're
really
saying, yeah.
screwed it with not having the 5 seasons.
Yeah, even if they would have done like 6 episode seasons,
Yes, it would have
it
still
would
been
have been
better.
a drastic improvement.
6 to 8 episodes, yeah.
Yeah.
It would have still been so much better.
John, thoughts?
Yeah, that's interesting you said that, because I was thinking to myself, 5 seasons, maybe it could be a bit overkill. I'll get to the reason why.
At least in terms of production, it would have been bad, I think. But
Yeah, because what I understood, what Disney said, they were going to try to not do as many TV projects to focus on more movies, like in the MCU and also in Star Wars coming up, because what I understand is that there has been a few complaints from people that subscribe to Disney Plus that they thought there's like too many shows going on. Like, we have to watch this show, but we also have to watch that show. Like, how can we keep up and all that stuff? And I think, and I get what you're saying about one thing. I think the better idea would have been, even though, as I said, we loved it. We'll talk more about it. I think it would have been a good idea if they would have done 6 episodes in season 2 and then 6 episodes in season 3. That probably would have been a better idea, so they can give them time to breathe, so that way they can say, oh, I'm excited about the next story.
Yeah, to provide the additional context that Matthew was mentioning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was a very interesting structure to do 3 episodes per week, which I have never seen that before, like, ever. I watch tons of TV shows. That
It's
has
not
never
common.
happened. Yeah,
Which,
that was crazy.
Like, sometimes I'll see 2, but
like, you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of Solo.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a fan of Solo.
Yeah.
Last Jedi, I'm not a fan of. I don't mind it, but I'm not a fan. But Star Wars has really been up and down on TV. Like, every other one I'm not enjoying at this rate. So I think they need to try to figure something out. Because, like, Mandalorian Season 1 and 2,
Yeah, no, it leagues ahead of all of
Yeah.
a majority of the stuff that we've gotten. Yeah.
I think next was Book of Boba Fett. Obi-Wan was kind of like here.
Mm.
Let's see what's next. I think it's then Mando Season 3.
And then Ahsoka.
That was right here. Ahsoka's up here with Mando Season 1, 2, just under it.
Hmm.
And then Acolyte. Then Skeleton Crew. Then Andor. Well, Andor Season 1's way up there.
Yeah.
So it's like varying all the time. Like, They're not consistent with their TV shows.
I actually kind of like the inconsistency.
Okay.
I actually kind of just brief thoughts about it.
Yeah, preface this like how
I actually kind of like the inconsistency
that they're not all
because-
good shows.
No, I'm not going to say that they're not all good shows because I've enjoyed everything that we've gotten.
Right.
And,
Well, that's what I'm saying in terms of like quality. Like they're not as good as some of the others.
Well, I won't even say that it's the quality because like we've gotten shows that feel very different.
Yeah.
So, Mandalorian's a cowboy or a spaghetti western.
Yes.
And then we have Andor, which is a political thriller.
Yes.
And a
And
Prison Break
then-
show.
Huh?
And a Prison Break show.
Well, no, it's just a political thriller.
Yeah, it's a
okay,
political
yeah,
thriller,
yeah.
A skeleton crew's an 80s adventure movie.
Yes, it's 80s adventure. And then
Acolyte was more like a horror thing or something like that, which it was supposed to be, but people were like, "Where's the horror?"
Just that one episode.
Yeah.
that was basically. But I wasn't expecting a whole lot of horror from that.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
That's
neither was
my I was wanting
I was
it to be
expecting
more.
the Sith to be a little fucking scary, man.
Right.
Like he's got to be badass.
I wanted
But-
the Acolyte to be more horror based.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. I would have really appreciated that. But
But I
no,
just felt like the writing was pretty weak in that.
I actually really liked it. I don't. I can understand like some of the complaints about it. I just a lot of the not to go on a thing about Acolyte, but
Yeah.
Acolyte. I did a lot of defending about that show.
I
I
did
think
too,
that was
yeah.
one of the things where I was like, okay, I don't really want to involve myself with the fandom.
I'll tell you
just
this,
because
though.
of how much defense I had to do with it.
Yeah, I'll tell you this though. I can't defend episode 1 of the Book of Boba Fett. I fell asleep on
Oh,
episode
really?
1.
I thought that the first
I,
book
for some
episode of
reason,
Book
I
of
was
Boba Fett was
so
one of
bored
the
with
better
episode
ones.
1, and I was thinking that is not supposed to happen when I'm watching Star Wars. But then the other episodes got better. Then what is up with Mando and Book of Boba
Yeah,
Fett?
okay.
Like,
Mandalorian should have never been in Book of Boba Fett.
No,
I don't care
no.
who the fuck says that it was okay and everything. It was all right what we got. It shouldn't have happened.
No.
I'm sorry. He gave the kid away in season 2 and then immediately got him back.
The only
No.
the only other thing I'll mention outside of Andor season 2 is the train episode of Boba Fett was my favorite. The train heist.
Yeah, that was a really good episode too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all. No, I'll go back to Andor.
No,
Yeah.
I actually really like the inconsistency because it kind of shows to me that it's one of the common complaints about the MCU is that everything feels the same.
Yeah.
And it's all the
Okay.
same same tone, quality, whatever.
Well, I'm not complaining about tone. I'm just saying like some are better.
I know.
quality.
I'm
Yeah.
just trying to like.
Okay.
It's like those. Everybody complains about the consistency of that, and how like it derives from it, and that's why I like the inconsistency here in terms of like what we're getting, quality and like show wise. I actually like the inconsistency because it shows like these teams are like how they all work differently and how they're trying to approach each individual or each project.
Okay.
I like that it's an individualistic approach instead of a like they could have told or they could have given us all these shows, but they could have all felt the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dip in quality is tantamount, in my opinion, to their approach to the actual project itself and how
Okay.
they wanted to tell the story.
Okay.
And that's the reason why I like the inconsistency because it just tells me a story behind the scenes.
Yes.
And like I'm always going to appreciate the flaws in projects, and like this definitely has its flaws.
Yeah.
Definitely more flaws here than there were in season 1.
Definitely.
Which is a bummer, and it ties back to our complaint about the fact that this should have been 5 seasons, even if they were shorter seasons than the other 4.
Even
But-
if it was 4 seasons and they combined episodes 4 through 8 or 4 through 9
Yes,
or whatever.
the Gorman plot could have been combined in 1 season.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's character development that we lose here, and
Yeah.
at times it kind of felt like, admittedly, I did binge like a bunch of the episodes together. I kind of watched it about the same way as you.
Yeah.
So that's one. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm.
I
able to
finished,
relate
I
so much
finished
to what
it.
you're
I
saying.
finished it last week.
Yeah, I watched the final episode today.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't watch the last 7 until
Okay.
last night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I watched 3 of them last night. I got like 5 hours of sleep, and then I woke up at 9 this morning and watched the rest.
Dang.
I was trying so hard to get here on time.
Man, I need to. That means I watched more Star Wars quicker than you did too.
Well, my brother was here like all this past week.
Right.
So
Oh, cool.
like all the time that I got, because I had to prioritize either that or Mission Impossible this week.
Right.
I was like, I'd rather watch the build up to to Final Reckoning than.
I'm so excited to watch it because I haven't watched it yet.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really
Shout out to Gavin, by the way, if he's watching this episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to my
Hey,
brother.
Hey, Gavin. But there was
We're brothers, but
yeah, of course. But I think another complaint for Star Wars fans they actually have is that you and I are having very easy the Star Wars content. The others, however, no. Mate, there has been people that's been saying the older Star Wars will never top the older Star Wars. The Disney sequels suck, and the prequels is just meh. Like I said with the Acolyte episodes, goodness gracious, guys, can you at least not be so mean to
Star Wars fans are
content?
some of the most unhappy people on the planet.
They are. They really are.
yeah, nobody hates Star Wars more than Star Wars fans.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
It's. I really don't want to get on a tangent about
Right.
it. But
No.
I feel like I say it every review that we do. If you are a Star Wars, or if you call yourself a Star Wars fan, and when you're watching Star Wars, you can't do anything except shit on what you're watching, or you're not having a fun time watching Star Wars, that piece of Star Wars is not for you.
Yep.
You don't have to be a fan of every single thing to be a Star Wars fan.
Yep.
Just the same as you don't have to like every single thing as a Star Wars fan to actually like Star Wars.
Yep.
Or to call yourself a fan or anything like
I mean, I don't like every DC project.
yeah, The Phantom Menace is my least favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Like I mean
Same.
by far. Like I mean I've defended Attack of the Clones a lot on here, and I know how crazy I sound defending Attack of the Clones.
And
like
also,
trust me, it hasn't been lost on me.
yeah, and also Jar Jar Binks, he's funny. I like Jar Jar Binks.
I don't
This is
quite get the
bad.
hate for Jar Jar, but
Yeah.
also hold on, real quick. Hey, Epic Games, fuck you for what you're doing with Darth Jar Jar in Fortnite right now. Fuck you. That is so stupid. You have to earn the skin to be able to buy it. Like, you have to unlock the skin in order to be able to fucking buy the skin.
That's some lame
It's
crap.
not a battle pass thing either.
That's crazy.
No, like it's in the fucking shop. You have to earn the XP to unlock it.
And then you can buy it.
And then you can, yes, and it's not even bundled. You have to buy it separately. You have to pay $20 for the fucking skin, which most skins you normally do. Just for context for anybody that doesn't play Fortnite. Most skins you would have to pay $20 in order to get it. But you have to fucking earn it, and it's not even bundled? It's so stupid!
Yeah, that is.
Don't do it ever again. Otherwise, I'm going to make a threat that I shouldn't make online. But anyways.
Yeah.
No, every single review that we do for a Star Wars project, I'm very much like, listen, if you don't like a Star Wars project, that's fine. You didn't like a Star Wars project. But just because you didn't like it doesn't mean that it wasn't good.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that other people didn't like it. It just blows my mind how there are some people that will sit there for basically what was 12 hours and be like, this show was shit. Like, are you fucking kidding? You sat there for 12 hours stewing in your own pee and poop, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you decided to hop online and be like, this is horrible. Like, fuck Disney, fuck Kathleen Kennedy, blah, 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 blah. Like, dude, just be a fucking adult. Like
If you
get some sun, touch grass. Like
if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it.
No.
If you're a reviewer, you have to watch it, but keep an open mind. You could say you don't like it, but don't dwell in that hatred the whole time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, can I give you another suggestion? You're probably not gonna listen to us, but you really should listen to us this time. Quit review bombing. Quit doing that. Quit it.
It's those people.
Look for a valid reason to justify
Which
why.
Andor season 2, it didn't review bomb, by the way. People did like the show.
No,
But still.
Look for a valid reason why you don't like a show. Keep an open mind and think critically of, like, I don't like this about the show. Not just, this sucks, I don't want to watch it.
Yes. And
Yeah.
Give us valid reasons why you don't like it.
I want to draw but before I say this, I haven't been online a whole lot this past 6 months.
Yeah.
But especially haven't really been online for
That's not a
the
bad
reaction to Andor.
Yeah.
But to tie into one of the current issues that we have with season 2, the fan reception of it, that side of Star Wars that is very
Challenged?
yeah, that side that's very obviously it's not the fact that you didn't like the project, it's the fact that you didn't like that there was a black person in it.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it was led by a woman.
Yeah.
That's what your issue was with it. You don't think that it's actually bad. It's just you don't like the fact that these demographics are being represented primarily.
Yeah.
Like it that side of the fandom, I'm not entirely sure how they reacted to this, but I think that I saw some of them saying it.
I didn't see anything bad except for, like, the pacing.
The stuff with Bix, with her trauma,
Oh, okay.
and what they showed in the and what was
Yeah.
represented in the show, the topics of sexual assault
Yes.
were represented in the show, and we got a couple scenes that were a little intense.
Nothing graphic.
No, nothing like absolutely obscene, but like there was a implication like straight out of the gate, and then there was a half-assed attempt.
Yeah.
And other than that, it was kind of reliving trauma and dealing with the assailtant or the assailant. Sorry.
Yeah.
And
And he got a bullet to the head, so.
Yeah. He
Or shot in the chest.
him
Yeah.
or no, I'm thinking about the guy that actually did it.
Yeah. Well, oh no, she bashed his skull in with a hammer.
Yeah, so there was the guy that made the half-assed attempt on I forget what the name of the planet was. I want to say Morgana. I don't think that was
the farming planet.
Yeah, I'm spacing it. Huh. But
Space.
I can't remember, but like he absolutely got what he deserved. But the guy that caused that trauma in her, in Bix,
Yeah.
the guy that interrogated her on Ferrix, he was assaulting her.
Yeah.
Like him ripping the blanket off of her and everything.
Oh.
Like he actually did it.
Oh.
Yes, like that.
I didn't catch on to that.
Yeah.
No, he got the
Dude.
sounds.
That was the scene where like cuz by the time that you had been like, yeah, I when you were texting me about it and you're like, yeah, I've got some hot takes about it. I was like, "Oh, he didn't like it?" Like, I wonder why. And like as soon as I got to that scene, I was like, I wonder if this is it. Cuz it's reminiscent of
Other things, yeah.
Yes. I was wondering if that's what it was.
No, I hear there's something like that in Mission Impossible, though.
Yeah.
In the new one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Okay.
If you want me to spoil it for you later, I
Yeah.
will. Okay. Yeah, just remind me later. No, that guy got what was coming to him. But the topic of the assault itself.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and I was seeing it kind of on both sides. I think that I was seeing some people on the bad side of the fandom mention it, where they're like, this shouldn't be in Star Wars. This is a children's show. It's like, this is not a fucking children's show. What the hell are you talking about?
Exactly.
First of all, let's be fucking honest here. No child is having a good time watching this show.
Skeleton Crew is a children's show.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like that
exactly.
was meant for kids. Andor is where the adults come out to play. Like, I don't... If you're making that argument, you're dumb. Stop watching Star Wars, get help. Because obviously, you're missing a few brain cells.
This is for the Dune and Blade Runner fans.
Yes. Like this
Well,
is...
yeah.
This is for people that are a bit more mature than I like to see a lightsaber go through wall. Like, but a lot of people were like, well, this should have just never been shown.
Yeah.
Like, and I will say I'm sensitive to those topics.
Yeah.
Me too.
I've talked about it on the show before. But I'm sensitive to that kind of thing, and well, I definitely had like my own little issue with it, where I didn't want that in Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'm. Oh no! I remember what a lot of the complaints from that half of the fandom were. That half of the fandom were complaining because they were like, "Did that really have to be shown? Like, they're not that evil." Like, that's what the fucking comments were. Was the Empire's not that evil? It's like they are that evil. They are that evil.
You gotta be kidding me! Wow.
Yeah, no, dude. Like they are that fucking evil. Like, are you kidding me?
Yep.
Granted, I'm not surprised. These are the same people that think that they're the rebellion in terms of societal culture. But
Matthew is so good. Like,
but no, like a lot of people were like, oh well, they're not that evil. It's like, no, they're absolutely that fucking evil. If you didn't think that they were that evil, like you haven't thought deep enough about Star Wars. Yeah, like we've had some fucked up things happen. Like
the Death Star from the very first movie was designed to wipe out a planet.
Yes.
and how many TV shows did you guys watch? Was this your first show you ever watched? Like, what the frick?
No, okay,
guys?
I'm not going. I like that media is pivoting away from showing those kinds of acts. I will say, just personally, but
Okay.
so it's not entirely common in television, but we definitely have a lot of pieces of media where that is a thing, where it's like I feel like it makes sense. I feel like it makes sense for such a heavy topic, heavy action and concept as that.
Yep.
It makes sense for it to appear in Star Wars at some point. And out of every place that it could have appeared, this was definitely the place to do it. And I am appreciative of the fact that it's happened once, and it will more than likely never happen again. Like I said, like this was the place to do it. Like this was the safe place to depict something as horrible as that.
And the causality of what was happening with it.
Yes, this was the perfect situation.
You understand what I'm saying about that, right?
Roughly, if you want to elaborate, please.
The whole deporting thing.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. He was doing it to cover it up. Yeah, basically.
That also ties into a lot of the stuff that was happening on the first season as well.
Yeah.
Specifically the prison arc.
Yeah.
Where it was more like profiling by the system.
Yeah.
Not to get into those topics,
Yeah.
but yeah, I like the societal topics that they brought up in this show, which we can just talk about the show broad at some point. But
yeah, let's try to get into some of like the more broader stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap up here soon.
Yeah, we gotta wrap up in like 10 minutes.
But I like a lot of the societal topics that they brought up. I really like the care that they put into the show concerning those. Pacing aside, I like the care that they put into that, and I like they didn't do too little, but they also didn't do too much. With a lot of it.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of it was really on the nose. And like for somebody like me that's really sensitive to Bix's topic.
Yeah.
I like the limits that they put on it as to how much the audience sees and how much they just need to imagine.
Right.
I was very appreciative of that.
Yes.
I feel like that was a great way to walk the line of throwing that topic into media without being gross about it.
Right.
Or without understating it. Either or. I think that Andor Season 2 really walked that line.
Yes, for sure.
But getting off of the heavier...
What are just some of your favorite moments of the season? We'll wrap it up with that.
Yeah.
Day drinking, which you deserved.
Yes. Seeing her in that prison cell, I was like, yeah, you fucking deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding? The secondhand catharsis that I got And it's not even. I was rooting for him to take it out on Andor or anything like that. But when Cyril caught up to Andor, and that entire episode where
that was the best episode.
Yeah, absolutely, hands down, best episode of this entire season.
Yeah,
I really love that episode, and I like the follow-up episode. That was the one that I was looking forward to the most of this season.
Yeah,
just because of the glimpse that we got of Mon Mothma's speech in Rebels.
Yeah,
I was really looking forward to seeing that end of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I hadn't thought about Andor being the one to rescue her after that happened.
Yeah,
but that was really cool. But no, seeing Cyril finally after 3 years of chasing Andor,
finally catch up to him.
He finally caught up to him, and he laid the fucking smackdown of a lifetime on Andor. Granted, he got licks. He got his licks too.
And then he gets shot.
Yeah, and then he got shot. I was like, oh, okay. But like, he also stood up against his mom. He stood up against to Deidre. When he was like choking Deidre, I was like, oh my god. Cyril snapped.
He finally grew a spine.
Yeah, dude. I was like, I'm so happy for him right now.
He was his mom. He was his mom's punching bag.
He was. I'm not. I want to say, to clarify, I do not condone violence against people, but I especially do not condone violence against women.
That's where I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
I want to say that very clearly. I love women. No violence against them, please. But there are times where you do have to be violent against somebody. And for somebody like Cyril, him snapping and choosing violence against the people that were really punching down at him, which I know that he saw what Deidre was doing.
Yeah.
Because you could see it in the first arc, I think.
Yeah.
Where it was just him seeing the back and forth between Deidre and his mom.
Yeah.
Where you could see where he was like, this is fucking weird. I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Yeah, when you first said that, I was like, whoa, chill, buddy.
No. I'm not. No, Cyril had I'm not going to say that he had a good excuse or anything like that. I'm not trying to excuse it. But it's, for him to be at the point that he was, for him to snap like that, I was like, my catharsis came from him finding Andor.
Yeah.
Me being like, yeah, I fucking love this for Cyril. But I like the fact that this was his character development.
Yeah.
His character development wasn't so much finding Andor. Like, yeah, that was his purpose. That was his mission. His mission was to find down the guy that ruined his life.
It was him, like, actually growing to defend himself.
Yeah, it was him finally becoming an adult, finally growing a spine, like you said. Like, it was him finally being like, I am so sick and tired of people doing this.
Yeah, because his mom was kind of abusive.
Yeah, and I love that. The entire first season, seeing the interactions between him and his mom, I was like, oh, dude, she needs to fucking be set straight. Because this is beyond bullshit.
Freaking Star Wars and their genius marketing put up a Happy Mother's Day post with a picture of his mom.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Oh my god,
that's
dude.
crazy.
That's some, like, no-chill bullcrap that I would do.
Dude, we have seen some shit for marketing with companies recently. No, I love those. Honestly, I loved a lot of the stuff that happened on Gorman, but the right scene was especially insane.
Yes.
I do think that the 9th episode is my favorite episode by far.
Yeah.
It's just the 8th and 9th go hand in hand really well together. But I love that. I liked one of my favorite scenes, and I doubt that anybody would really bring it up, but Krayla? Is that what her name was? Krayla?
I don't know.
The assistant, Luthen's assistant, Krayla.
Kreela, I think.
I'm pretty sure it's Krayla.
Kreela, something like that, yeah.
Whatever. I'm probably getting it wrong either way. But after Krayla takes Luthen out,
okay,
and has to, when she has to take him off life support, and when she's in the safe house, those are some of my favorite scenes from her. Great. I was really interested in her character this entire time.
Yeah.
And they were the mystery characters for the most part.
Yeah.
But I really loved her scenes in those episodes.
Yeah.
I really loved.
She's a great actress.
Yeah, she was amazing. I loved seeing that breakdown because that was a much more subtle performance.
Right.
And I think that she pulled it off really well. I think she very appropriately conveyed what she needed to, and she did an amazing job. But your guys' moments,
Yeah.
please.
I'll that was just a Daedra pretty much, and I love the riot scene. That was incredible.
Yeah.
The cinematography stand out. Like it really is more of an elevated Star Wars in terms of like quality.
Yeah.
Cinematography is just next to none in Star Wars. I'll let John have this after this. Did you know Mon Mothma's sister was in Rise of Skywalker?
Ooh, I was unaware of that.
Apparently that scene.
Oh.
Apparently that scene at the end of the two women kissing.
Mm.
That was her.
Oh wow. Okay.
I just saw a post about that.
It was a meme. I'm pretty sure that's I think it's a headcanon.
Oh, okay.
But
I thought
that's
someone
not
actually
her.
confirmed it.
No, that's not her. Because I saw the same thing.
Okay.
But I looked it up like when you sent me the picture.
Okay,
I
I
looked
did
it up.
send it to you?
No. Yeah, you sent me the screenshot.
Okay.
No, that's not her.
Oh, okay.
No.
Yeah, I read
it'd
something
be
later
cool.
that someone said it was confirmed.
I don't think that it is. It could have been confirmed in an interview.
Okay.
But if it was confirmed, I don't think that's on Wikipedia.
Okay.
I looked on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia, even though I try to avoid it now, it is still one of the most accurate pieces of Star Wars information online.
Okay. Yeah, I seen it was confirmed somewhere.
Yeah,
That's
Okay.
I mean, I'll double check after this
okay.
episode. But.
Yeah, John, go ahead and give your thoughts real quick.
And yeah, I would say like the climax that led to Rogue One, which makes Rogue One even more of a greater movie than it already is. It's really cool that it led up to my third favorite Star Wars movie. I loved it that much. It is a great movie, which I need to go back and rewatch it.
I like it
need
more
to.
that I watch it.
Yeah. But it's really cool they connected with the great Star Wars movie to go along with the first season, 2 seasons of Andor. I definitely need to rewatch the Andor seasons all over again because this definitely has the potential to probably be my favorite Star Wars TV show when I do rewatch them again.
Really?
Yeah. And that's how much I really enjoyed those 2 seasons of Andor. So, yeah, I like the whole climax. It's really cool that
Awesome.
they made it to Rogue One, a great film. So, yeah. I guess we're doing scores.
I guess I don't really have a way to score it because
I'm not sure because of how the second season played out.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. With it being multiple years, I can't really score it. If it would have been a year for each year, like I would have been able to, but
Okay.
I would rather rank the arcs than anything.
yeah, I would say I'll rank the arcs of the new season. Third arc is best. I'd probably say second one second best, then 4, then 1. I didn't really care for the wedding arc.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that I would go. I think that I would go 3, 4, 2, 1.
Yeah,
Because I just the first one seemed the weakest
Definitely.
to me, and the second one was a lot of prep for the third.
yeah,
I did love the wedding arc though. Like I was just a fan of it just because of the world building that we got out of it.
right.
Ooh. In terms of my favorite, I think I'll go with Arc 2 because it led into what's going to happen next in the next 2 arcs, which was very interesting. I think my second favorite, I think I'll go with probably the first arc because it was really cool how they start from the beginning.
Interesting. Okay.
And I will say third favorite would probably be the last arc, which led to Rogue One, and then our arc 3 would be last. Although I love all arcs, I really liked every single one of them. So it's very tricky for me to try to rank these, honestly.
Yeah.
But as a show itself for season 2 of Andor, it's 5 stars for me on the full season as a whole. So I really like all of the arcs, but to try to rank them, yeah, that's a little bit tricky for me. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I'll say if I were to give a rating, season 2 would be 8.5. First season would be 9, but second season is still my favorite. between the
Okay.
two.
There
I'd
you
give
go.
it probably like a 3.5.
Yeah, I mean that's understandable.
Which is still not bad. Yeah,
We thank you for watching this. We hope you had a blast
absolutely.
checking this out. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hit that notification bell on YouTube. We are on YouTube, Spotify for listening. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Threads, Instagram. Hopefully we'll be doing stuff with our TikTok soon.
Yes.
We've got a lot of episodes to go. We are going to be in the process of me moving in the next few weeks, so we're going to be off for a few weeks after these next few episodes that we're doing today. Our Superman live reaction is up. You can check that out. We are ending this episode now. We hope you enjoyed it, and hope you guys have a great night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
We have been the Cinema Asylum Podcast. You guys were awesome. Thanks for coming out. God, no.